But I also saw that there was a Polar Express video game and that his brother, something Hanks, one of them, voiced characters in that.
Poverty Hanks.
Poverty Hanks.
Yeah.
You want to tell me Tom Hanks went out of his way to voice 5 different characters in the movie?
Yeah.
And he couldn't even do it one more time for the video game?
For the video game.
They had to get his brother knockoff Hanks? Kroger Hanks?
Lights, camera, action.
And nothing unites people like someone dying.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's sad and it's true, though.
The candy corn industry is a money laundering front.
What's the worst, acid trip you've ever had?
Well, this is Red Band Podcast, baby. Movies, music, conspiracies, deep existential crises. It's all inside and it's all unfiltered. So let's get started.
Hey, welcome, Red Band, to a brand new year. This is the first episode of Red Band Podcast in the year 2022.
You saying that, it gave me a good feeling inside.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is 2022 Red Band Podcast. We're here.
Yes.
We're speaking to you, the viewer, the listener.
And we know we've been on a little hiatus, so we hope you're still there listening.
We hope so. It would be a little discouraging to post this one and see 0.00 listeners. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Well, one can hope. I've had a few people ask where we've been.
Okay.
So that's a little encouraging.
I like that.
So, but here we are, and what a time it's been.
What a fucking time it's been. Yeah, I think it would be maybe good to recap why we've been on a hiatus. How that happened.
Yeah, look, a lot happened. Spider-Man came out and the world changed.
That was the first thing the release of Spider-Man did crack reality, much like what happened in the film.
Much like when Harambe was shot. Mm-hmm. That was a big shift. Mm-hmm. Flash forward to Spider-Man in No Way Home. That was another big shift.
Huge.
A tidal wave of emotion and events from that. But we breathe a sigh of relief because we did it and we're here, and so much to talk about, including movies that we've seen since December.
Yeah.
And what are we now? Mid-January, almost the end of January.
Almost. Time's flying.
Yeah,
this is pretty gnarly, actually.
It's scary.
Yeah.
As you guys could tell, we're just excited to get back.
Yeah,
and,
seriously.
Just get back to some of the essence of the show, which is entertainment.
Yes.
We love entertainment.
Yes.
And since the last time we met and talked, which was with Brian LeVance,
that was
which
great.
Still super excited we were able to have him on the show. That was awesome. And talk about Jingle All the Way. How many movies do you think you've seen since then? It's been about a month.
Fuck me in the shitter. So I'm currently on a Marvel cinematic rewatch.
Oh, wow.
And let's just say I'm on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mm-hmm. So I've watched a lot of that, right? From Iron Man to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, however fucking movies that is. And then we watched a couple of other, I watched Prisoners and I watched Black Swan.
Okay.
Those were fucking dope ass movies. And then I saw Spider-Man twice, No Way Home. What else did I watch? I'm watching Peacemaker. I'm watching Euphoria as it comes out. I'm watching The Righteous Gemstones as it comes out. New seasons of all that.
Damn.
I'm on it right now. Yeah, I'm going hard. So
you really are.
Off the top of my head, that's what I got. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
That's amazing. Obviously Spider-Man.
Yes.
Which, if you noticed, we can talk about it, right?
Yeah, dude.
We're well over a month.
Oh, listen. I'm so glad I saw it that day because my TikTok was immediately first of all, even just YouTube, the day after I saw it. So I saw it the day it came out, Thursday.
Yeah.
Right? The next day, I went to YouTube and there were videos of people bootleg certain parts of the movie already on fucking YouTube that Friday.
Dude.
And on my TikTok, all over my fucking TikTok were the most intensive spoilers of the movie.
Yep.
So, we're going to talk. We're the most gracious of them all.
Yeah.
Talking about it now. Everyone, I mean, if you didn't see it, it's ruined. I know it's ruined. If you didn't see it the first 4 days, Did you see it the first 4 days? You had to wait.
Yeah, I had to wait. I barely got it in. Yeah, I think I saw it Sunday.
Oh, so you saw it that Sunday? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were in the...
I was in that range.
You didn't get it spoiled for you until then?
Well, all right, I did. I did, and man, it sucked. So, I think it was Thursday night, opening night, and I had done such a good job of avoiding. And first, I just got to say, obviously, I'm still on the podcast, which means, if you remember my thing, I said if Toby and Andrew are not in the movie, I was going to pack it up and this was going to be over. So obviously, confirming that they're in it because here we are.
Yeah.
But so Thursday night, the night it came out, I was just on YouTube.
Yeah.
And like you said,
yes.
But this was Thursday night, dude. Like the night it came out, and leading up to this, how many fan edits did we see of stuff? Right. Like,
right.
People are like Toby versus Andrew, this and this and that, and it's all fan edits.
Right.
And so I saw there was this one that said Toby versus Andrew or something like that. And it was like 40 something seconds. And I was like, oh, another fan edit. So I click on it.
Oh, fuck.
And it starts playing, man. And it was one of those things like a bad accident where you saw what was happening and you knew, but you couldn't look away. And what I saw was Toby in the living room at the head of the table.
Yeah.
And Andrew comes across in his spider suit and they look at each other and they both shoot webs at each other.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I couldn't look away and I couldn't stop. And I was like, oh my God. That was real. There's no way that was a fan edit. That was
like,
absolutely real. Zendaya's in the shot. The other guy's in the shot. Like, wow. I just went, and it was like on a phone, obviously, like an LG chocolate, poor quality, 12 pixels, but
that's tough
shook.
because so many things are spoiled just by that. Like,
and it's like, I didn't go looking for it.
Right.
I didn't like type in Spider-Man No Way Home leaked foot, like nothing. It just popped up on the like suggested. And I'm assuming because I had watched other Spider-Man content, like I saw the trailer a dozen times. It's the algorithm pushed it to me, but I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding, man. I went so long avoiding spoilers.
yeah, that's the one part. That's the one place where I'm like, yeah, maybe Sony and Disney, like maybe you guys can move a little faster on getting those taken down. Like, come on. There's no reason that the day the movie comes out, you should be able to see that on fucking YouTube. Dude, what about those commercials before movies when you'd watch DVDs and they'd be like, this is a crime.
Piracy is a victimless crime.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like, well, shit, I could just go on YouTube and see someone pirating a fucking movie and within 5 seconds of it coming out. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? That guy probably posted it in the movie theater
While he was there, yeah.
while he was watching it. You probably saw that before the movie ended for him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a good point.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised seeing it on Christmas. I thought there would still be a lot of hype. So that was the second time I saw it was on Christmas, and all the things started happening and everyone was quiet. And I was like,
you're like,
guys, do you not understand what's happening right now? And I'm not going to be the one asshole cheering when no one else is cheering.
Yeah,
So
right.
It just felt odd. But I got to take my dad to see it, which felt good because, my dad is the one who got me into comic book culture in the first place, since I was a kid. We watched the first teaser trailer for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man with the Twin Towers in it, when it first literally came out. So
goes back to our first episode when you brought that up.
Exactly. So to take my dad and I'm still a giddy kid. I turn to him and look and I'm like, isn't that cool?
Right.
Isn't that cool, Dad? Do you love me? No.
Please.
You love me, right?
Validation.
Did you watch anything during your deal?
I did. So I saw Jungle Cruise for the first time.
Wow.
Which I hadn't seen.
The Rock
and
Dwayne
Emily
The
Blunt.
Rock. Yeah.
And I saw Don't Look Up.
Oh, duh. I watched that too. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I watched that too.
And so we could talk about that.
Yeah,
what
we
else
can.
did I see? I feel I watched Shallow Hal, which I had seen before, but I don't think I had seen it start to finish all the way through.
Okay.
I think I've just seen bits and pieces on TV.
Throwback.
This is my first all the way through watching of it.
Yeah.
And that was great. Jack Black at his Jack Blackness.
Yes.
Well, that sounds.
He should have gotten more.
Yeah.
He should have gotten more. And I really think he was able to transcend societal norms for how a movie star should look. He's like the original, but like he should have gotten as much as Seth Rogen got
Oh yeah.
for
I
being
just-
a
I don't know.
non-traditional.
I love Jack Black, man. I feel like he's like a heartwarming character. Like you see him on screen, you feel good.
Yes.
He's going to make you feel good when you watch him. And I haven't seen a movie with him where I'm like, yeah, that wasn't it.
Yeah. He can do no wrong. Like notice how the QAnon people never say that Jack Black is eating babies.
Right.
That's because even they know. You know, even they know he's pure.
Like,
of
we
heart.
got to protect him. He's
Yeah.
great in Jumanji.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wonderful in that. Mm-hmm. Which is probably the first thing, honestly, that I've seen him do in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing
Goosebumps.
before that.
He did Goosebumps.
Oh, Goosebumps. I never
I
saw
didn't
that.
watch that.
Me either. But you're right. He did do that. And what else did I watch? I feel like I watched. I watched Loki all the way through.
Oh, what?
I finished it. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
So man, that was huge.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Glad you watched that.
Other than that, I can't think of anything else major that I saw.
I will say, after watching Spider-Man, I did buy the Spider-Man PS4 game, and I did play that quite a bit during my quarantine, and that shit is fun.
It's a great game.
It's a great fucking
Isn't
game.
it very much reminiscent of Tobey's Spider-Man 2 video game?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything that game was, and then modern,
Just
better,
updated, yeah.
updated, and then even more complex
Mm-hmm.
with all the extra side missions and side things you can do.
All the cool suits you can get.
Oh my god, yes.
Man. Yeah, over Christmas, my brother was letting me play his Miles Morales one. And same thing. It's just great. Like
Yes.
what I do miss, and I think we've talked about this before, is how in Toby's game, that Toby, Kirsten Dunst, like everyone came and actually voiced themselves in it.
Yes.
And I feel like I don't know many other video games that do that.
Do we get that anymore? Are we even getting video games after movies anymore?
Not a
really.
whole, not that like relate too much to the movie.
Right.
You know, like these Spider-Man games aren't Spider-Man No Way Home, the video game.
No.
I saw it too because over New Year's week, watched the Polar Express. And so I was looking up like the cast list because I was trying to see just how many characters Tom Hanks plays in that movie. He plays like 5 different people.
Really?
But I also saw that there was a Polar Express video game and that his brother, something Hanks, one of them,
Yeah.
voiced characters in that.
Poverty Hanks.
Yeah. Poverty Hanks.
Yeah.
You want to tell me Tom Hanks went out of his way to voice 5 different characters in the movie?
Yeah.
And he couldn't even do it one more time for the video game?
For the video game.
They had to get his brother knockoff Hanks? Kroger
least-
Hanks?
At least they didn't get his son actually named Chet Hanks.
Oh,
which
really?
Makes me look at Tom and say, why would you name your child Chet? And then
And then
his son,
Colin, right? Colin
Yeah.
Hanks?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And his son is like, I don't know, kind of the worst kind of white dude, you know?
Yeah.
Like wants to be black, is obviously super rich, and just has no goddamn sense. I'll channel my inner black man. He ain't got no goddamn sense.
I love it.
And that's all I'll say about that. Now, at the same time, you could just appreciate him as a character. He is kind of funny. He's kind of funny, like in a Donald Trump way.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you're not a good person, but you're kind of funny, you know?
I just looked at Chet Hanks and he does kind of have that look.
He's something else, that Chet Hanks.
Jim Hanks is the guy. I'm assuming his brother.
Is his brother.
Jim Hanks, who does the Polar Express video game, which is for PC.
Celebrities are like teachers, you know? Like when you see a teacher at the grocery store, it's so hard to even imagine that your teacher has a life outside of teaching.
Yes.
Same with celebrities. You're like, you have cousins? Like,
Yeah, right.
You're not supposed to have
siblings.
cousins. Like,
You're supposed to be the only one.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
how are you not just a singular entity without any other like family unit?
Yeah,
It makes no sense to me.
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's weird.
I've felt that, and I didn't realize I felt that.
Because you bring in Jim Hanks, and then what does Jim Hanks do? Like, how do you Do you tell people? Do you not tell people? Do people recognize it in you?
Yeah. Because I mean, looking at him, I don't think they resemble each other too much.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little bit. I could kind of see, there in the nose.
I could a little bit see it in the nose.
Yeah.
What happens if someone walks up to you, they don't know you're Tom Hanks's brother, and they're like, you know what movie I fucking hate? Castaway. Fuck Castaway. You want to know why I hate that movie? Because it's pretty much Tom Hanks the whole time. And I actually, what would even be funnier is if he worked in an office and a QAnon lady came up to him and was like, Tom Hanks is eating children.
Yeah.
Did you know that? And he would be like, what?
It's weird. He didn't say that last week at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have maybe come up.
Yeah. And you're just like, yeah. And then I'd love to see that person's face. Because even I feel like people who say stuff like that sometimes also feel the same way about celebrities, like that they don't have a normal, like a brother named Jim.
Yeah. Or you wonder if he knows and he's like, yeah, okay, look, I'm not him. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't associate with that. Just
Yeah.
leave me out of it.
That lady starts going through his shit. Like,
Yeah.
where are you hiding them? Are they on Epstein's Island?
Have you been there?
Yeah. Have you been? Do you get a family pass?
Yeah, right. A punch card or
fast
something.
to Epstein's Island? Oh, God. Anyways, I think it's time to deep dive
Oh,
Spider-Man.
boy.
I think it's time. I want to really... This is what I've been waiting for
Yeah.
this whole fucking time.
Yes.
So I wish I could have listened to our predictions episode again, but there are a couple things off the top of my head that I can immediately identify as things that I was watching it and I was like, oh, it's so funny that we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
The first thing is the science element, right?
Yeah.
They really brought that back heavy.
Yes.
Were you pumped on that?
I was. Because
Yeah.
just for people, we were saying that like the science Spider-Man was kind of lost in Tom's
Yeah.
because Tony Stark was kind of the guy. He was the science guy. He made the suits and the upgrades and did all that for everybody.
Yep.
And so we lost a little bit of that ingenuity that you see from Andrew and Peter.
Yep.
And we get some more now. I mean, and especially at the end of the movie, we see him make his own new suit.
Right.
It looks awesome. Looks like it's like a combination between Andrew Peters and Tom's.
Yes.
He's swinging through, looks very comic book like. And so that was exciting too to see.
Yeah. There was so much science between him making the cures for the villains, and then obviously him and Toby and fucking Andrew all doing science together. And like you said at the end, making his own new suit. That was great. The other thing that made me fucking laugh my ass off based on the conversation we had is you said, like, what if Toby's in the movie, but he never suits up in the Spider-Man suit?
Yeah.
And for a little bit, it looked like that might fucking happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. Because Andrew shows up in the suit.
In the fucking
and he's
suit.
ready to go. And then
Yeah.
it's not until they're doing science that he's like, does everyone have a suit? And Toby unbuttons that shirt, baby, or pulls it down and we see it.
Yeah, I just like, I was laughing because I was just like, what if Estevan called that? Like, Toby's in the movie, but he never puts on a Spider-Man suit in the whole time. He's just dressed up like a youth pastor, as Andrew Garfield hilariously stated in the fucking movie.
Yeah. And I definitely was like, uh-oh. I thought the same thing too. Yeah, man. I was so excited to see them all on screen together.
Yeah.
Like childhood, middle, or high school, whatever.
Yep.
Childhood, high school, and current all came together inside of me. And so much excitement. And like even seeing all the old villains come back.
Yeah.
Like that was so cool. And they were all on screen together.
Right.
And what a difference between, Toby's Spider-Man 3 having multiple villains versus this one having multiple villains.
Having
And
like six fucking villains.
Yeah, and they made it work.
Yeah. Having like six villains and also him just having a whole scene where he fights another hero. You know? Like that's a lot, and yet they made it work so well. It's insane.
They did such a good job with this.
So the first kind of big thing is Matt Murdock Daredevil.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your What was your feelings the
So-
second you saw that?
Yeah, so I've never seen actually
Okay.
Daredevil, but I obviously knew who he was as soon
Right.
as I saw him
Right.
on the screen. So like, oh yeah, all right, cool. We're gonna get like some Daredevil,
Yeah.
and not Ben Affleck's Daredevil,
Right.
which I'd see it again. I've heard nothing but horrible things about it when I saw it. I was a kid, so my
Yeah.
standards weren't too high. But it was funny because like my friend didn't know who that was, and like he was just, why are people okay, And I also thought that was sick when the brick came through the window and he catches it and he's like, I'm just a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
So what did you think? Like,
Yeah, I shit my pants.
Yeah.
I came.
nice.
No, man, the Daredevil Netflix series is so good, and I highly recommend it. Since you haven't seen it. Also Punisher. So yeah, for me, like loving those shows when they came out, because they're just so fucking good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew about this, but also like the Kingpin from the Daredevil show was in the Hawkeye series.
Okay.
So
'Cause I
they're
haven't
starting
seen that
to
yet.
integrate
Yeah.
like these other properties and prove that they're in the same universe. And
Excellent.
they are, because when you watch Daredevil, they talk about like the Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about the Battle of New York and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But the whole point of Daredevil, obviously, is he's a real ground level superhero fighting, well, some would say, the real crime and the real evil in the world. Like, the Avengers are fighting aliens in the sky, and Daredevil is like, stopping human trafficking from happening.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's like, okay, aliens, sure, but like, Iron Man, could you maybe like save some women from human trafficking?
Yeah.
So that's what Daredevil's doing, and then the Punisher series is so good, and that seems to be confirmed that Punisher's going to be in there. John Bernthal's Punisher.
Nice.
So yeah, seeing Daredevil on there, I will say that was one of the things I spoiled for myself before the movie.
Oh, okay.
But it was also a thing that I didn't know would actually be real.
Mm-hmm.
So to see it be real, I was like, okay, this is fucking great. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful. There's a lot of, I really don't.
I think that was. Oh, that's me.
Oh, there's the computer, huh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good Daredevil Spider-Man comic book runs.
Oh, okay.
And I get excited about that too, because there's a lot of good Daredevil Spider-Man, and there's a lot of good Deadpool Spider-Man. And if we can get that shit going at some point, like that's going to be fucking fun.
That'll be fun.
So,
Some red
especially-
suit guys.
Yeah, because Spider-Man is an Avenger and all, but he really is kind of like a street level guy too. He's a community hero.
Yeah.
He's big New York. He's loved by the local community type deal. And so yeah, I'd love to see some more of that incorporated. And yeah, my girlfriend and her sister did not know who that was either. But
Yeah.
I was in a theater, thankfully, of people who reacted and were pretty pumped to see him on screen. And then like she was kind of just like, who is that?
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, I'll show you the show. And then we start watching the show, and she's like, yeah, this isn't the Avengers. Like, there are men's bones being broken and bleeding from many orifices in this show. And it's, Daredevil show is a hard rated R show.
I've seen some fight scenes on YouTube
Yeah.
from that show, and they're sick, man.
Right.
They do it.
So yeah, it was exciting. And then I didn't understand if my girlfriend and her sister got the context of his blindness.
Yeah.
So I just I leaned over to them and I was like, it's crazy that he caught the brick because he's blind. And they were like, no, we caught that. Yeah, we said. They were like, no, we could tell that much.
Yeah.
We just wanted to know his name. Thank you for being a mansplainer. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. You're like,
So
"Oh, fuck me."
That was good. Yeah. There's so much that happens in the movie. I almost forgot that the fight scene between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man is like one of the best fucking parts of the movie.
Oh yeah.
That shit was crazy.
And Spider-Man beats him.
Yeah. With math.
Yeah.
So that shit, I had never seen Doctor Strange. I watched it the other night finally because I'm on my Marvel rewatch.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of my favorite deals because I'm very much into the mysticism, the spirituality, and
Alchemy
the
is
tripped
all that.
out. Yeah, like and that that scene of him knocking Spider-Man into the mirror dimension, so fucking good.
It was sick, man. And so I didn't understand. I'm assuming maybe it's because like it's almost like Hulk, how Hulk and Bruce Banner are two people. I don't know, like why when he knocked Peter out of Spider-Man's body, why Spider-Man was still able to move his arm around. Like, did you understand that?
I watched a lot of stuff about this. A lot of people are saying a lot of things about this. First of all, yeah, that was badass.
Yeah.
And the first time I watched it, I didn't understand why, but obviously it was his Spidey sense was still operating.
Okay.
Some people are predicting, well, supposedly a Spider-Man multiverse comic book came out that said, and I don't know if this is canon on Marvel's main comic book timeline, but that there's like the interdimensional connection between Spider-Man is kind of like their Spidey sense is part of that, I guess. So I guess he was in the astral realm, right? When fucking Doctor Strange knocked him out of his body. And that his spider sense might be more than just like a super instinct. There might be some possibly like spiritual magical components to it.
Okay.
Maybe in this Marvel Cinematic Timeline, but there was that comic that came out that kind of did almost confirm an interdimensional connection between all Spider-Man, and there's a link between their Spidey senses. So
Interesting.
that's the kind of shit I was reading up on it.
Yeah.
But wasn't that a fun scene though?
That was great.
That was awesome. Now, I know I didn't notice this. I noticed this the second time I saw it, but like there's kind of those waves coming out of Peter Parker's head, almost like how the Spidey sense is depicted in the comic.
Yes.
That shit was fucking
That
great.
was awesome too.
Yeah. Loved that.
I love that. I mean, there's just so many little things, right? It's the small details that you get that are just, oh man, like when Toby talks about when they're on that scaffolding and they're waiting and he talks about how he has a back problem.
So
Great.
good.
That's great.
How the fuck were they all so funny, dude? I mean, and that's what I was feeling that first night. Like, I was just like, this exceeded times 1,000 what I could have wanted from this. I mean, it really just did.
Yeah, and man, I feel the worst for Tom Holland Spider-Man, because this man literally has, at the end of this movie, he has nothing. And no one.
Nothing.
Obviously, no Uncle Ben for a while.
Right.
Then his father figure mentor, Tony Stark, gone. Well, okay, he's got a best friend and now a love. They don't remember he even exists.
Yeah.
Before that, spoiler, Aunt May, dead.
Yeah.
Happy's not going to remember who he is now.
Right.
And the only other hero who was in the same area to help him, Doctor Strange, I don't think, unless there's some kind of thing to this spell,
right,
I don't think he remembers. So like he literally has no way home. He has no home. He has nobody like
right
at all who knows who he is, and anyone else is dead.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
I was thinking about this, and I don't think there's going to be a way that Doctor Strange remembers him, but I do think that Doctor Strange is the only person who would believe that story if Peter Parker goes to him and tells him, like, you're not going to believe this, but the only reason you don't know who I am is because we had this big adventure and you wiped everyone's memory of existence of me. And I really think Doctor Strange is the only person who would be like, okay, I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or what's her name? Oh, man. From Endgame. Do you remember her? She was like, Bruce went to get the time stone from her, or reality stone.
Oh, yeah. The damn...
I forget what her name is. Her name? Character or actor name? Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd be like, that makes sense.
Or she would know. She'd be like, yeah, I know that happened.
She would know.
Because she, in Endgame, it was the same thing. She already knew like why he was there.
She understood.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he's going to have to talk to somebody like that, or, but we'll probably see now, like my assumption going forward is he's going to maybe enter college. Nobody knows who he is, so he'll make new friends. He'll probably make friends with like a Harry Osborn.
Yes.
In that realm. He'll probably see Ned and MJ maybe have a thing together.
Yeah.
And he might try to get close to MJ again. And in the process, who is he going to meet? He might meet Gwen Stacy.
Could meet Gwen Stacy
of his universe.
He could meet Black Cat. Is that Selena Kyle?
She's
That's
Batman.
That's Catwoman.
That's Catwoman.
Oh,
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But maybe Black Cat.
Yeah. And maybe some Miles Morales. I know Jamie Foxx made a comment about a Black Spider-Man. He's like, there's got to be one out there.
And Andrew Garfield said, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm not black, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got to talk about the Savage, the one-man wrecking ball, the fucking most fucked up individual of comic book history, comic book film history, the fucking GOAT, the fucking king, Norman fucking Osborn, dude. What the fuck?
He outdid his performances in the first two.
That man just likes to act, and I think he's just having fun. And you can feel that. He likes to just do his job.
Yes.
I'm getting like almost emotional just thinking about what it felt like to see him do his thing and see him like go hard times 10. Like just the scene where, and first of all, that scene is just fucking amazing, where they're all in the condo and Tom Holland gets his spidey sense, which they depicted beautifully. And from a filmmaking standpoint, right? They do that Vertigo. There's that, I don't know what you call it. There's a name for it where it's like there's a dolly away and a zoom in. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think they call it like the Hitchcock shot or something like that. It's just, you're moving in, and while you're moving in, you're zooming out.
Right.
You can do it the other way too, where you're pulling back and zooming in. And that just causes like the background to either look like you're staying almost in the same place and the background's getting bigger and coming closer, and like the depth of field. It's very cool. You see it in Jaws.
Right.
Steven Spielberg uses it in Jaws. It's kind of just like a big, like when a person's having a huge realization, an oh shit moment.
Yeah, it was just so, and it was just like, I don't know. There was a lot in this movie from a filmmaking perspective that was fucking just really cool. And that was one of them where it was like, yeah, you know, you're showing that moment like that. And then you get this like steady cam, you know, walking around with Peter around the apartment as he's trying to figure out, why is my shit going off right now?
Yeah.
And then he gets him, dude. And then he fucking webs up Norman, and the way he's just that, I get chills just thinking about it. And then Norman's on sabbatical, honey. You know? Yeah. And I was just like, this motherfucker's spitting. Like, and it was just the most devious. And then he beats his fucking ass, dude.
And apparently he did all that, like his own stunts for the most part, which is awesome.
I just, I think I forget as a fan, what the Green Goblin's abilities are. I forget that. Yeah, he is some super strength.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some super strength.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about when the movie came out too originally, like the capabilities they had and choreography and all that kind of stuff. They've advanced a lot since then. So you see him just pop off.
Boy, does he pop off. Yeah. There's just probably my favorite scene in the movie. There's a lot. Well, this is top 3. Is when, you know, Peter jumps on him and is just hitting him, and he's just laughing. And Tom Holland's brilliant in that moment because he pauses for a second and he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's like, he's just like so taken back. And a lot of people have spoken really well about this, where it's just like, you know, every villain he's faced has had some sort of moral thing going on, or no one he's faced has just been pure fucking evil and chaotic. And that's what he got.
Yep.
and it's like his innocence, which has been destroyed multiple times, was once again purely just crumbled in itself. And he's just like, I am fighting a legit madman right now.
Yeah.
Then he gets body slammed through a couple stories of a building, which was gangster as fuck.
That'll put hair on your chest real quick.
Hair on your chest. So I think the biggest surprise of the movie was that Aunt May died.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was not anticipating that at all.
Yeah. Did that fuck you up? That fucked you up pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's happened nowhere else in the universe.
Yep.
And not only do you feel bad for Peter, but now you also feel bad for Happy. Mm-hmm. Happy Hogan.
Oh.
Who, yeah.
Yeah.
Like shit. Because not only, again, here's a guy who lost his best friend,
Yeah.
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And then now he's like finding love and feeling like he's getting back into life after Tony and life after Endgame with
Right.
Aunt May. And, you know, he really is into her and treats her well, and then gone.
Yeah, it was that's what struck me in watching it, just because, you know, there was rumors of Toby and Andrew, and there was rumors of Daredevil, and there was rumors of this, and there was rumors of that, and not in one bit of those rumors, spoilers, leaks did anyone say Aunt May is going to die in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy her dying, but I was like, I was just glad that there was a surprise, and a true surprise. I mean, all of it was a surprise, but that was the most pure surprise. That was one thing that I had never crossed my mind.
Yes.
That was one thing that no one had talked about whatsoever. And it was just my stomach dropped when she said, with great power,
Oh, yeah.
there must come great responsibility. Because I'm like, motherfuckers die after they say that.
Every time.
Like, people don't live much longer after they drop that line.
That is a good point. It gets shorter and shorter with each movie.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously. Yeah. At least Uncle Ben got to go to the fucking to Whole Foods before he got shot. Jesus.
right.
Yeah.
And that goes back to when we were making predictions. Because if you remember, Matt said, he was like, I feel like there has to be some sort of surprise, because the buildup and the talk has all been around Toby and Andrew.
Right.
So I feel like they're going to have to be like, pull something in that we're not expecting at all. And we were talking like a Deadpool or something crazy.
Right.
But they went worse in a good way.
Right.
Like they just like totally ripped our hearts out with it.
Yes.
Like, oh, all right, you guys went there. Okay. I was kind of hoping for like X-Men or I don't know, Fantastic Four or something. Like you could have brought Ryan Reynolds in, or I don't know.
We thought you were going to give us Nova. You fucking kill Aunt May? God
damn, guys. All right, shit.
Which is it, you know, back to the heartbreaking story of this Marvel Cinematic Universe's Peter Parker. Like, God damn, like how many people got to die for this fool? And then you understand why he's and then he's like, he could have been easily became bad at that moment, right?
Yeah.
He had the potential to go full villain, but I think, you know, what's great then is that gives a beautiful reason for Andrew and Toby to be there. Mm-hmm. It's not that they're just there. I mean, and even if there wasn't something they could offer him emotionally, it would have still made sense. You know, the spell, blah, blah, blah. Everyone who knows Peter Parker, blah, blah, blah. Oh shit, there's 2 other Spider-Mans here now.
Yeah.
But the fact that they come in to offer him emotional support.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, like, because they all have been through the same thing.
Yeah. I loved that scene. That was great.
Yes.
To be like mentors, to be like older brothers, you know. And that's great now too, and I feel hopeful, especially because of the internet broke out afterwards.
Yeah.
We want the Amazing Spider-Man 3. We want Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4.
Right.
And didn't we talk about this?
Did we? We must have.
In the first episode of this podcast, I said, you know what's going to happen? Everyone shits on Toby. Everyone shits on Andrew. You know, where the real fans are like, we still love their Spider-Man. We still love these movies. And I want more. Everyone's shitting on them. And what's going to happen is a bunch of bandwagoners are going to jump on after this movie comes out. And sure enough, we were right, because now everyone's like, we want another Toby movie. We want another Andrew movie. fuck you. Called it out.
Yes.
Called out every single one of you who was spreading through the internet talking about this. I mean, thank you for finally joining.
Right. Thank you.
You know,
Welcome.
welcome to our wagon.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining on. But
We've been here.
yeah, we've been here. And we called you out and we knew you were going to come
Knew it.
and we have snacks for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's a great opportunity too for now. Like he has nobody, right? Tom has nobody.
Nobody.
But now he has them at least. If he has a way to
Right.
access them, I don't know how without Doctor Strange. But
Right.
it's like at least he has now this like brotherhood that he didn't have really before.
Right. Right. Yeah, totally. You know what, man? Red Band Podcast calls it again. Well put. And I forgot about that. But you're
Yeah.
right. We called that shit, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
And the world is hungry for more Spider-Man. Listen, studio execs, I don't give a fuck. Give me all of it.
Yeah.
I will watch all those movies.
I will
The day
too.
they
Are
come
you
out.
kidding? Who doesn't want to? Because that was the other thing I was like feeling by the end of the movie. I was like, they caught up a little bit, but I want to know more.
Yes.
What have they been up to in the meantime? And
Right.
I just want to see more. I want to see them unite again and throw in Miles Morales and throw in like Spider-Girl and let's really go for it.
Yeah. Live action Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Which they're doing the sequel to that movie
Yeah.
now, and I still need to see the first one, but
We'll get there.
we'll get there
We'll get there.
in due time. The end credit scene.
Yeah.
What about that? So here's the thing. This is where I was a little bit lost. I never saw the second Venom.
Right.
So I'm assuming this is what I hear. At the end of the second Venom, he gets transported to Tom Holland's universe.
Yeah.
And then like that's what and then he's there in Mexico or something, and that's
Yeah.
why on the screen, which that's the only part of the movie I've seen, is that part where
Yeah.
he sees Tom Holland being exposed as Spider-Man,
Right.
and then he like wants to go after him. So then the end credit scene of No Way Home is Venom still in Tom Holland's universe, but then he gets put back, but there's a little piece of the symbiote left behind.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
One thing that comes up immediately, not about how I feel, but just that's interesting, is at the end of that second Venom, where we see Venom transported into Tom Holland's universe. That's actually kind of cool now, because now we kind of get to see exactly what happened to all of those characters to end up in that movie. Like, that's, I guess, what it looked like for
Yeah.
all of them, wherever they were. I gotta admit, okay, throwing Venom in there would have been too much, I think. And to introduce him that way to Tom Holland, I probably actually would not have liked, just because I'd like to see a true Spider-Man Venom story, Black Symbiote story. But I'm not a big fan. It was funny, first of all. Not a big fan though of the like, that's how the symbiote is in this universe now, because Venom got transported back and there's one drop of the black goo.
Yeah.
That's a weird trope that they decided to throw in there for some reason. But I guess that's what the point of the after credit scene is to get your juices flowing as a fan. And that's what it does. But I don't know. I think they just should not have brought him in there at all.
and that's kind of where my thought process was when I finally understood, because I had to look up because I didn't really understand it, being
Right.
that I hadn't seen the second Venom. So I had to look it up, and I was like, well, that all seems like kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Like, you bring him in, it seems like we're going to get Tom Hardy versus Tom Holland
Right.
at some point, and then now you take him back. However, now with all the talks of potentially doing more Spider-Man, it's like, okay, there will be a symbiote left in Holland's universe. Maybe we'll see Garfield versus Tom Hardy instead.
Yeah.
Which could be cool.
That would be great.
We've already seen Toby do the Venom thing, so we won't see that, but like maybe not. I don't know, but yeah, I did. I felt like, well, that was kind of a waste. So he's
Yeah.
not going to be in this at all. Is that because Tom Hardy didn't want to keep doing his character for that long, or is that because Sony was like, no, we've given you too much. We want
Yeah.
our own like property. I don't know.
I did read that Venom was supposed to be part of that final fight. But I guess if you think about the movie and how it went, just throwing Venom in there would have been weird. You know, Toby would have had to comment on how he fought one of those in his universe. It was actually comedically hilarious for Andrew to admit that he hasn't fought in any aliens.
Yeah.
It would have been weird if Toby was like, "Oh, I fought one like that," and then Tom's like, "I don't know what that is," and then Andrew's like, "I've never fought an alien."
Yeah.
You know, that would have been a little less funny.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it wouldn't have added anything. I think it would have made things more confusing, but yeah, it does beg the question, why do that at all then?
Yeah.
Why even? And it's just like, it just makes you wonder, like at the end of Venom 2, it's like, in a way, that's the most interesting thing about the movie is that he ends up in Tom's universe.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting part of the entire film. And at the very end, at the end credit scene. And then to just be like, oh shit, we're not going to put him in. So we need to do something. Okay, we'll just make this funny little scene and leave a symbiote behind. And it's like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I felt the same way. Just kind of like, well, what was the point, really?
Yeah.
Other than to put a little piece of symbiote, so that way we have Venoms in all 3 universes now.
Right.
I don't know.
There's talk of, you know, them possibly doing a Secret Wars movie eventually. And in the comics, during the Secret Wars, that's when Spider-Man gets the symbiote suit
Oh, okay.
on a planet, wherever the fuck, where they're fighting the Secret Wars. That would be kind of cool to see them do it that way, actually, I think, and I hope. But then with this deal about a little bit of symbiote being left behind, it seems like they're just going to go with that.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be kind of sick? Like, I think that would be
so.
kind of cool.
You know, the thing is now Marvel they can really just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like we can do whatever.
And we will forgive them.
Oh yeah.
If that little goop of symbiote never becomes anything, I forgive them.
Well, yeah, and who knows, right? Like they're the all-knowing people over there now. Like
Right.
their grandmaster plan might be better than anything we could even think of right now
Yeah.
for these movies, and you know, whatever. I'm still going to show up and watch them.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I think though, you know, the happiest revelation for me. So Andrew was the biggest denier.
Yes.
And almost seemed like he was getting angry about people asking him. And I was actually starting to feel bad for him. I was like, man, wouldn't it suck to not be in a movie and people keep asking you if you're in a movie and that's all people ask you about, and you're coming out with this other movie that's not Spider-Man, and you're like, hey guys, I do other stuff.
Yeah.
And people keep asking you about Spider-Man. And then it just, he was so good, bro. Like I was just like, damn, like he seemed happy to be there. They all seemed happy to be there, but Andrew seemed like ecstatic, and he was comedically brilliant.
Yeah.
It was something beautiful to watch, you know?
Supposedly even Emma Stone was texting him, asking him,
Yes.
like, are you in this?
Amazing. And he kept it up, and that's commitment.
That is,
I love
that's
that.
acting.
Yeah. You said it, bro. You called that. You said he's a very good actor. You called it, dude. You fucking called it again.
Look, we do this here at Red Band.
This is what we do.
We do, and we don't always mean to. Sometimes we make a joke, and it's true.
It's just
I'll still never get over the aliens thing in Demi Lovato.
Never.
Can't believe we called that out of a joke.
Never.
But then we have our intentional stuff like this, where it just, I don't know, magic comes together on this show.
Yeah, I'm just now remembering that we were talking about how intensely Andrew was denying it, and you were the one who said, well, he is a really good actor. Maybe he's acting. He was. The whole time he was. The whole time. And not only that, but I was starting to get a sense from him that he was done with Spider-Man. And it doesn't seem that way at all. He seemed incredibly happy to be there. It seemed like some beautiful closure for him. He gave it his all. And just, it's just so good.
Man, when he was talking about what happened with him and Gwen, and he's tearing up, and he's just he's very good with facial and body acting.
Very good.
You know,
He's a brilliant actor.
I do. I like him.
And then he got the redemption.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
He got to save Zendaya, MJ.
And I think I may have predicted that.
I think you did.
I think
you
either
did.
on the podcast or off of it, I've said like, dude, that would be crazy if Tom's going to save her and Andrew comes along and he's like, wait, I've seen this before. Let me.
Exactly what happens too. And it's brilliant. And like you were on point with that because I remember you saying that. And then even better that like it's Green Goblin who takes out Tom.
Yes.
But then and people pointed this out, which was really cool, is that the way Andrew saves Zendaya is like it shows that he learned from that experience.
Yes.
The way he jumps off and focuses on catching her, focuses on picking up speed before he saves them with webbing, rather than trying to web her ass and breaking her shit, you know, fucking her up, making her damn vegetable.
Yeah.
You know, like fucking, it was cool. I liked to see that.
Yeah. All of them got redeemed.
All of them.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Which that's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Great writing.
The greatest thing in the world, like the thing it does, it gives me those chills again. It brings that emotional feeling. First of all, hilarious, right? The Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3 fight. And Andrew's on Peter 3, you know, and that's fun too because it's true, you know, in the hierarchy, although I would say Toby's Peter 1, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
You know, in the universe, it was Tom. And that was cool because you got to see, like, okay, Tom's the only person who's fought with a team. But the fact that, you know, they have that little talk and then they just like, they're like run off and jump off and swing together and they're all like, woo.
Yes. Oh, dude, mind blown.
God,
they web each other's webs and like sling each other. And it's like, wow.
They web each other's webs.
Yeah.
It's so badass. And then they all land fucking cool. And the way Toby lands, though, that gave me, you know, that was how his Spider-Man would land. That's the feeling I got from that, you know, that perched.
Yes.
You know, that I don't know, like it just felt, you know, and that's one of my favorite poses of the, I think about Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, and there's a drawing that Todd McFarlane did. This is the guy who created Spawn, and he did a Spider-Man run that was a little darker. And there's a picture of Spider-Man posed with that kind of perch, almost looking down, a little hunched, a little depressed, with spiders crawling all over him.
Ooh.
And it kind of gave me that vibe. And it's like that little bit more like edgy spider, you know?
Yeah,
and that perch
aged.
on him. I was like, ooh, let's go.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you wonder, like, you know, they all go back to the universe. What happens, do you think?
Right.
Like, I'm assuming Toby's okay because he got stabbed.
Yeah.
But, you know, then he
what
makes
the
a
fuck?
comment. He's like, I've been stabbed before.
Right.
So we assume he goes back, probably gets patched up. He's okay.
Yeah.
And then same with all the other villains, because I think the intention behind it is like when they died in their universe, that's kind of when they got transported to this one.
Right.
So when they go back, I'm assuming they don't just like go back to to the point where they were dying.
It's weird. Yeah. I guess now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of, like, so the only ones who didn't die were Lizard and Sandman.
Lizard and Sandman.
Right.
They didn't die. Everyone else did. Well, did Electro die?
I think he
did.
did.
Yeah, he did. He got totally like blasted out.
So, yeah, it makes you wonder because the original intention was to not make them have to go die.
Yeah.
But did they just go die anyways? They don't really address that, I guess, huh?
That was something that we talked about after we saw the movie. It was like, so when they go back, like they just going to go back and, you know, Green Goblin gets impaled by his glider. And,
right.
You know, the other thing that they didn't really explain, unless I missed it, was why Jamie Foxx looks different when he came into this universe.
Yeah.
They kind of didn't really say. It was kind of like, well, you know, they have in film school a lot, they talk about gimmies. And if you get the audience really engaged, the audience will give you a certain amount of gimme.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm okay with them not explaining that because there's all this other great stuff.
Right.
So that might have been their gimme.
Yeah, that makes me think of the movie Us with Jordan Peele. Yeah, where truthfully, there is a lot not explained in the movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, depending on how much you like or dislike the movie, you are going to notice that. If you really like it, you didn't really care that how the hell did they get the scissors and all the fabrics to make all the synchronized suits. But obviously if you didn't like the movie, that's like your biggest criticism. So yeah, there were a couple of gimmies, especially the Electro gimme. And I just saw it as like in straight up, like they all kind of looked at each other and said, well, why would we force him to get into his nerdy makeup? Like, you know, like, fuck it. Just let Jamie Foxx be hot. Yeah. You know,
just let Jamie be Jamie.
Just let him be sexy black man, sexy R&B singing black man, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, you know, I mean, does he say, I don't remember if he says that, like, wow, I look and feel different. Maybe not. I don't know.
I think he says that he does feel different, or he feels more powerful or something like that. He's like, the energy here is different.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say like,
it's like one little,
but it wasn't anything like explaining. It was just more like acknowledging that he's like different and he's like cool now.
It's like a throwaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think they explained why, because he's the only one who comes through different.
He's like, wow, all of a sudden I'm the guy who played Ray Charles in that movie. What the hell happened? This is a new universe where this is the new universe where I'm a multi-talented, Oscar-winning, Grammy-winning, and no, he didn't win no Tonys. But anyways, former stand-up comedian. Huh?
Yeah, right.
Who would have thought that I made a hit song with Ludacris called Unpredictable?
And Kanye.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I also thought it was interesting that Sandman was sand the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you think that was something with like maybe the actor just looked like beyond what CGI could do? Or
so I read up on that a little bit. He was down, but he wasn't available.
Oh, okay.
So he just did voiceover. Same with Lizard. So
okay, right.
What I read is that any of the scenes, there's only one scene where Lizard is Dr. Connors again. And there's one brief scene where Sandman is just human Flint Marko. Those were like literally, I think, CGI'd in from the other movies.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's a little more evident the second time. And that's a gimme. I think those are some gimmies for sure, because the second time I watched it, I was like noticing more of the gimmies, and I was like, okay, you know, maybe they were a little extra on some of these things, you know?
Yeah. Well, I did notice when I first saw it that like the scene when he is getting cured, looks very similar to a scene, in the third one, like the camera movement, the angle, the everything,
right?
And I didn't know if that was a nod, but now that you say, I guess it makes sense that they would have just pulled it and kind of...
Yeah, because they kind of just move on, like very quickly. Like after Lizard and Sandman are cured, they're like, oh, they're cured. Okay, let's go do the other stuff now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quick, but, you know, hey, it's one of the most ambitious fucking movies ever. Like,
absolutely,
there's going to be some oversights, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, not much you can do if like someone's not available,
right?
Which I don't know. How could they not be?
Yeah, you're like, come on, dude. What are you, guy who plays Sandman? What are you making?
Yeah, what else are you doing? Really? No offense to him.
No offense to him.
But what are you doing?
You doing something for Paramount Plus? Like, get the fuck out of here. Get on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, right. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, they made it work.
Maybe. Yeah. What was the only other thing that this kind of brings up for me that we didn't talk about was the character of Ned discovering he had some abilities to do some strange magic. That was pretty cool.
And that might come into play. Like him and Peter might end up being villains.
Right.
Or not villains, enemies.
Yeah, without knowing each other. And yeah, that was a pretty cool. Now that I watched Doctor Strange though, like, because when I watched that without watching Doctor Strange, I was like, wow, Ned is like the only other person. And I'm like, now that I watched Doctor Strange, I'm like, okay, there's like a lot of people who can come and like learn that. But, you know, whatever, he was in tune. And I thought that was kind of cool. And truthfully, like, that is not how I thought they would introduce Andrew and Toby. Yeah. And I remember when it hit me and I was like, oh, this is how they're going to do it. I was like, oh, that's clever. Because you would expect this big, spectacular moment. Oh, here comes Andrew and here comes Toby through the cracks of the fabrics of the multiverse.
Yeah.
And no, it was like in his grandma's living room, you know,
without Tom even being there.
Without Tom even being there.
Yeah, it's a little intimate scene.
Yeah.
It's him and Zendaya in the grandma's house. You don't expect it then. I think that was very intentional. They're like, when would somebody least expect these two to show up?
Right. And then prove it. Prove you're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
He's like, what if I fucking, what? Now, it was pretty funny. Like, it really showed Tom Spider-Man's immaturity. How Andrew and Toby both come in and they're like, we don't carry IDs on us. It defeats the purpose of a secret identity. And they're like, and I know it wasn't Tom's idea to be outed as Spider-Man, but, too many people knew that was the natural consequences that eventually everyone was going to know.
Yeah.
So, and that was his oversights as a slightly immature hero. And so it was kind of funny to see them be like, the fuck, like, this is, we don't let people know who we are.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So yeah, overall, dude,
it was an exciting, exhilarating movie, and I saw it in Screen X. I don't know if you've seen anything in Screen X.
Ooh, no, man! On that opening night, I was so desperate to watch it. I got seats in the second row, and I was looking up, but it still hit just as good. But yeah, no, I wasn't in no damn Screen X.
Yeah, so anyone who doesn't know, because I wasn't sure what it was. My friend told me that it was like they combined 3 screens.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be one really large screen that you're like, almost like a curved monitor in a way.
Right.
Not at all. So it's one regular screen, and then the walls on each side get projected onto.
Okay.
And so like the opening Marvel part where it's like the comic book flipping, like the wall, like you feel like you're in it.
Yes.
And like when Tom in the opening scene was swinging through the city after he gets exposed, there's like city elements behind. And at first I was like, whoa, this might be a lot. Like I feel like I might get nauseous or something because it's a lot. It's only for certain scenes. It only turns on for certain parts.
Okay.
Like I think it came on again when Electro was being introduced.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Like it's super immersive. It feels
amazing.
Yeah. Well, this has been good getting back. Feels good. I feel like we unloaded a lot just because it's been so pent up.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, but it's
sorry
been pent
to load
up.
on you.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. It happens.
It happens. Sometimes you're backed up.
Yeah. We were pretty backed up.
You're in celibacy kick,
Yeah, exactly.
It's all there. Yeah, you can let it loose. No, I feel good, man. I feel excited for this next chapter for us too. And we did. We had a lot of pent up. And now that we got it all out, I'm excited to see what's next.
True.
Because we spent a lot of time on Spider-Man and Christmas and stuff like that. So, where do we go from here? I guess we'll find out.
We will. And hopefully you guys will be listening. This has been a Red Band podcast brought to you in 2022, the first episode of the year. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And hopefully you missed us. Hopefully you weren't like, oh, yeah, I forgot these guys do this sometimes.
Yeah.
So, be sure to listen. Thank you guys for supporting. Check us out on YouTube as well. We're going to get more of our episodes on there for free.
Yep.
And follow us on Instagram. And we're excited to keep sharing shit with you guys. So,
yep. Can't wait. Good to be back, y'all.
Come back next week. We'll see you.
We'll see you then.
Lights, camera, action.
Nothing unites people like someone dying.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's sad and it's true, though.
The candy corn industry is a money laundering front.
What's the worst acid trip you've ever had?
Well, this is Red Band Podcast, baby. Movies, music, conspiracies, deep existential crises. It's all inside and it's all unfiltered. So let's get started.